Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Tony Saga at the Lavender Project. And let me see, today we're going to be talking about something that has been talked about a lot in the film world, especially with cartoons and lost episodes. And it's actually a fairly, not really recently posted creepypasta because this has been up for a couple years now, but it's definitely a popular one. And it has to do with someone that we all know, and that's Mickey Mouse by Walt Disney. So basically, we're going to be talking about suicidemouse.avi. AVI is, the video file coding in the computer. So anyways, Suicide Mouse. Why do they call it Suicide Mouse? Well, let's see here. In the 1930s, Walt Disney had made a bunch of Mickey Mouse cartoons. And that was, the first one was like Steamboat Willie, which was in 1928, and then after that people started loving Mickey Mouse, so he kept writing more stuff about him, and eventually he made all these Disney movies. Now, there was one episode, you can call it, that was not supposed to be an episode, or it was not really an episode, and that was what they call the Suicide Mouse film. The Suicide Mouse film is basically, it's not really creepy, but I guess for Mickey Mouse, it's definitely, just creepy, because, Walt Disney wouldn't really do this, besides, the subliminal messages, like the sexual messages in the newer Disney movies and stuff, but that's not what Disney's doing, because Walt Disney died, I think, in 1991 or something. Anyways, so, Suicide Mouse is basically a loop, in the background of, those old cartoons, Jetsons, Flintstones, how they would run constantly, and then the background would just loop back and forth so they didn't have to keep drawing more crap. They even do it in Ed, Edd and Eddy a couple times. But anyways, it's a Suicide Mouse film is a loop of Mickey Mouse walking down the street with a bunch of buildings, and there's like 5 or 6 of them. And he's just walking with his hands behind his back, looking down, with a kind of smile, but not really a smile. And he's just walking, and it's not really an episode, because it's just, Mickey Mouse with his old 1930s self, and then it keeps looping on. And, so basically, what happened is, this film, no one actually paid any attention to it, because for the longest time, you just see this looping, and then it goes black. But, you guys know Leonard Maltin, right? I'll show you a picture of him right here. Leonard Maltin is an American film critic. I almost said food critic, but that's him right there. And is my camera a little messed up? Anyways, so that's him, and you can sometimes see him on lots of, like for instance, my DirecTV on the cinema channel. He's always on there talking about new films and stuff. So anyways, apparently on the Creepypasta, what it says is that Leonard Maltin was watching all the older Disney movies and, seeing which ones are good enough to go on this DVD, because they made a whole DVD a couple years ago about all the classic Mickey cartoons, and I remember that coming out. I think it was back in 2010 or something. But anyways, he was criticizing all these cartoons, and when it came to the Suicide Mouse film, he watched it and he was bored of it. And he just said, you know what, it's not really an episode, it's just Mickey walking. It's classic, but still, it doesn't need to belong in the DVD. So he dismissed it, but he wanted a digital copy of the film to take for himself just in case, for, his archives or whatever. So, basically, this film is about 9 minutes and 4 seconds long, and everyone only watched like half of it. But, what I have to say about that is that when Leonard Maltin went back to his office, he had this digital copy. He started watching it, and it cuts out to just black in the 6 minute, and then Mickey starts walking again. And Mr. Maltin picked this up when he watched it, because no one ever watched the whole thing. They just thought when it cut to black it was the end. Why keep watching? So he watched the rest of it, and then it started getting weird, like Mickey was walking. Then it would become a murmur, kind of like voices, like humming, like that kind of thing. And then after that, it started getting weird. It started getting like crying noises and then screaming, and then Mickey started to kind of get weird. The whole picture got like messed up and shit. The sidewalk started to go in weird directions, which is impossible if Mickey is walking, like the physics. I mean, cartoons are impossible with physics anyways. But then Mickey Mouse was starting to get a little like smile on his face, like kind of evil. Around the 7 minute, I remember watching the film. There was a random scream that it was really loud, like a blood curdling one, like someone getting killed. And it was getting more weirder as the scream started going on. And then colors were in the film, and back in the 1930s, they didn't have colored film. It was too expensive. That didn't come out until the early 50s, and 60s. But anyways, so Mickey Mouse's face apparently started to fall apart in the film. And when I saw that, I was like, what the hell? This can't be real. So then buildings, like the ground started falling apart, and then buildings were just like broken, floating in the air and crap, and it was all messed up, and the film's just weird. So yeah, Leonard Maltin, I remember that he thought it was weird, but he never included this in the DVD. He thought this would scare the shit out of people. I don't think he really told anyone about it, but they do have a video on YouTube, which I want to show you, at least part of it. I might have to make this into a part 2 video. But the thing is with Suicide Mouse is that this apparently is the forefather for all lost episode genres. So, the lost episode hype, which I think started in actually the 50s, it started with this lost Mickey Mouse tape. This was the first ever thing to be a lost episode, apparently, because it was one of the first ever cartoons that came out. For whether it was movie screens back in the 30s or televisions in the 50s. And, people didn't really pay attention to this. They just thought it was something stupid, they didn't need to watch it, blah, blah, blah. So I started researching this after I watched the film. My girlfriend, Angelica, actually told me about this at school, probably about 2 weeks ago, and she showed me it. And after that, I went home to watch the video and researched it a bunch. And so, it's even on Urban Dictionary I found out that they have the word suicide mouse. And it starts talking about the actual thing. It says, Walt Disney, Mickey Mouse cartoon back in the 1930s, a bit strange, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, they have it on Urban Dictionary. Wow, a lot of people know about this. And then, so I typed it in on Yahoo Answers. I was like, suicide mouse, is it real or fake? And, they say that it's fake. They say that it's just an old Disney clip that someone messed up and distorted it, added screams and everything, so they could just scare people to add to the creepypasta itself. Or maybe that was the person who made the creepypasta. And he goes on to say that everything that on 4chan, the website 4chan, is fake. And, I mean, even though I agreed with that, I didn't know that this came out on 4chan, so whether it was introduced on 4chan and then went into the creepypasta, I have no idea. So this video that I'm going to show you is 9 minutes and 4 seconds long, as I've said. And I'm going to show you it off of another YouTuber